Welcome to another episode of Debating is for Life. I'm your coach, Tamer, and with us today, Christian biker and U of T English graduate, Rocky Rauf. How are you doing, Rocky?
You forgot honors.
Honors? What do you mean?
Yeah, honors. Bachelor of Arts honors.
Bachelor of Arts honors. Nice. We can't forget that. That's like a whole extra year, right? When you get the honors.
Yeah.
So listen, before we get into your academic phase of your life, I just want to tell everybody, how we met, why we're connected, and you were literally my next door neighbor. And I only have one because on the other side of it is a little park, a little forest, and so I only have one neighbor. And for a couple of years, that was you. And so when I first moved into my neighborhood, you were my next door neighbor. And so I remember that, and look, you're a very interesting character, and you're a very kind of imposing figure. And I remember one day when I was walking outside, the garage door was open, and you were working on your motorcycles. I think you had two of them in there, and you were revving the engines. And I was walking by, I was trying to get a look at you, and I noticed you had these pink, what are they called? Those shoes, those plastic shoes.
Called Crocs.
Crocs. You had pink Crocs on. And I thought that's strange. And I remember I took a chance. I said, nice shoes. and you looked at me and said, these are the shoes I wore in prison.
I
don't know.
I also lost them in my divorce.
You lost them. Was that part of the things that went to her?
It was just me leaving in a hurry.
Okay. Well, I don't know if you were joking or if you actually wore Crocs in prison or if you even went to prison.
I've never been to prison.
Okay, that's good. I have, but as a debate coach.
Oh, okay.
In any case, I wanna also, not just you were my next door neighbor, but you are, I guess, a lifelong devoted bike enthusiast. So you are a person who drives motorcycles, and tell me a little bit about how you got into riding motorcycles and into that kind of lifestyle, that culture.
No, well, my brother, ever since I was a child, my brother had motorcycles, but then there was a TV show in the '60s called Then Came Bronson. Do you know that show, the Canadian show about the dog, the littlest hobo?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Well, this was the human version on a Harley of the littlest hobos. Then came Bronson, who has suffered a personal tragedy, and he would ride around the United States on a Harley and help people like the dog did. And I just thought that was just a romantic, version of the knight errant, right?
Yeah.
Since I hated bullies, and I thought I got into the riding. Plus, one time when I was a kid, there was we're on our way to see the film The King and I with Yul Brenner and I think Samantha Egger was in it. But we came to a stoplight, and you heard the sound of this rumble coming, and all of a sudden there's this man showed up on a yellow motorcycle, right? But his hair, he looked like some sort of Norse god. He had long hair and a beard, and he stopped right in the intersection, and so there was no place else. Nobody could go anywhere. Our light was green, but we couldn't go. And then the thunder grew louder and louder, and just a whole parade of motorcycles went by two by two. And this was in the late '60s, right? And so the mini skirts were still in. And all these guys had these beautiful long-legged girls with them. And I said, I got to get into that. you know, I just thought, well, if I can get
It's
a
amazing the
motorcycle,
things that inspire our life path, eh?
yeah. So if I can get a motorcycle, I can get one of those things on the back.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did it happen? Did you manage to get a silky leg passenger on the back?
Several.
And some of them more silkier than others, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, the one was an exotic dancer who looked like Jamie Lee Curtis, but
Nice.
yeah, but very unbright. Um,
All right, all right, all right, all right. We're not here to litigate
no, no, no,
your
no, we're
former
not. I just no, no,
partner's
it's just
intelligence.
no, no. What it was I think Bugs Bunny is hilarious. Cindy sat on the other end of the couch and laughing at the goldfish cracker commercials, but nothing for Bugs Bunny. And I just thought that's not going to work out.
Well, everybody has their standards, when I met you next door neighbor, you were married to a lady, and I'm not going to name names. There's no need to protect the innocent, but listen, I want to get back to this idea that you kind of saw yourself as a knight errant, kind of a good guy that has a rough edge, and you call yourself a bully buster. So it seems to me that you're a perfect candidate to be a bouncer. And I know and I know that part of your early on career you were bouncing at bars and locales. So tell me a little bit about that kind of work that you did. I mean, if I came to the bar and I saw a guy looking like this, I would behave myself right away and I wouldn't even think about causing trouble.
Well, it was I I just started the career in a restaurant one day, and then I ended up working at that particular bar was called Route 66. Um, I ended up there quite by accident, but the gentleman beside me was is Hamish, and he got into trouble. He was also a bouncer there, but he got into trouble. He was being overwhelmed, so I joined in and helped him out, and we started working the doors together. That's and
Well, I
then
bet I bet you have some stories you can tell. I mean, you guys both look like such tough guys. Like I mean, you made your whole persona in the early days was just this tough guy. You looked like a very tough, imposing figure. I mean, and then I found this picture. Rocky, please tell me what's going on
oh,
in this.
that was for a print ad for Designer Depot. The I got a call saying we're looking for some fat, ugly bikers, and I said, "Really?" I said, "Why are you calling me?" I didn't think I fit that description, but they paid me $750, and then
Nice.
to go stand beside that guy. And the slogan was for "It's practically stealing." So they put us up all in a lineup of other ne'er do wells, ruffians and ne'er do wells, to illustrate the point. The girl on my left has her shopping bags, and she's full, and she's got this grin on, so it's practically stealing. So the assumption is that she's also
Oh, I see.
in the
Nice.
yeah
So it's just like a gig to make some money one day. Okay, I thought
yeah
this was an
just
actual lineup.
yeah it was just for um fun, right? And money, just
Well, it kind of goes along with your persona because when I first met you, you really looked scary, to be honest, a little intimidating. And but when I started talking to you, I realized that you really are kind of a diamond in the rough, and you have this sort of rough exterior, but a really wonderful golden heart. And it's you're just a really nice guy.
I
And
fooled you, huh?
it didn't surprise me later on to find out that you actually rode with a group called the Christian Bikers. Is that right?
Yeah, it was Christian riders
Christian
and
riders. Yeah,
a couple of Christian motorcycle clubs.
right. So tell me a little bit about that, and what's the difference between just belonging to a bike, I guess, group or club or gang. Like, did you always ride with the Christian Bikers, or was that later on in your life? Did you start with a different group?
No, actually, I started with the Christian bikers
Okay.
uh, because there was just something in, I felt I should do because I already had the inroads to it, right? When
Uh-huh.
after I became a Christian, I had the inroads to. But what I found in Christian bikers was not all that positive.
Hmm.
Um, there was a lot of people that wanted to, they said, minister to bikers. But when I introduced them to some bikers, they were scared and they acted like goldfish swallowing water with the mouth going, but no sound or anything coming out. They were very intimidated, and it was just plus it was very cliquish, and it wasn't a good fit. So I just stopped doing that.
Okay, but does that group still exist?
Yes, in the United States, there's a whole myriad of Christian bikers around, right? A whole bunch of clubs and stuff like that. And
Okay.
but it's not for me. I prefer just to uh, uh, dance to the different drummer, you know.
Understood, understood. Um, so I guess that image of a modern day biker is kind of like the good like a cowboy, right? It's a biker is a modern day cowboy, a kind of a wild, free spirit. Is that correct, or am I getting that wrong?
Not really. There's a group of people that would want to romanticize the biker as uh, a saint of the road, which is what they were, expressing for truck drivers at one time. But most bikers I found to be there's a decency in them, and there is their code of ethics of but it's also part of the romantics. It's more they're single individuals that a lot of them are angry and a lot of them are predatory. Uh, but it's not this that's not saying everybody, but it's not the way people have romanticized bikers as going out and giving charity money, and it's nonsensical. Personally, I like the fact that people thought that we're scared of me instead of oh, let's go talk to the biker, he'll help, right?
Yeah. So you carry a kind of a certain aura with you when you're wearing a biker clothes and riding with guys like that. And I'm sure you carry like kind of the authority of the entire group. Like, don't you get power from belonging to a group like that?
Yeah, of course you would. There's people in clubs, they're called patch holders, right? And some there a friend of mine from the Hells Angels described it as this: the patch is you know the colors, the patch, the rags that are called the emblem on the back. Some make the patch, others the patch makes them. Do you understand the allegory there?
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah.
They're more powerful with the patch, and some are just in. And there's several of them that are just into the brotherhood, the friendship, and the decency. Right? There's still people you don't want to play games with,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they're not going to actively hurt you, right?
Right,
If
right.
you get into their face, right, there is that horde mentality. You are going to get done in, but it's not. A lot of them is a live and let live, you know, environment. But just
I understood. Well, I have to bring up that the one time I went to dinner with you with my friend James, and you remember
oh
that?
yeah, how
And
is
we,
he?
we he's doing great. He was actually a guest on this show. If you want to watch the interview with James, he did it as well. But we went out to dinner with you uptown, and you brought along a friend from your biker days or
Oh,
someone, and
that
No, no
was
names,
me.
no names, no names, no
Oh,
names. Let's protect the innocent.
okay.
But my point is, what you were saying, I think this is a person who you do not want to mess with. And it was clear right off the bat. Like, to me, you were always that person. Like, to me, you were a person you do not want to mess with. But when I met this guy, I thought this is a whole different level. This guy just seemed like a scary guy off the bat. And so and then I was fascinated how he got along so well with my friend James on a spiritual level. And they really connected, talking about profound spirituality. And I thought it's interesting how a biker can kind of have this dichotomy, right, and be such a aware, spiritually stimulated person, but on the other hand, be the scary guy that's kind of an enforcer for his gang.
Well, it's not like they're just one-dimensional human beings, right?
Right, right, right,
They bikers also have families. They also bleed red. Um,
right, right.
they have their doubts and insecurities.
Yeah,
Love they love their wives. They love their children. It's not.
yeah. He was
It's
actually talking about like a problem his daughter had at school, and the principal was giving her a hard time, and then he paid the principal a visit. So it's a normal, average person's situation with this biker twist on the story.
it's not exactly the PTA thing. It's
But he was the kind of guy that I kept thinking that you would love to have as a friend and you would hate to have as your enemy. And that's the kind of person that he was.
well, friendships and bikers, they do run very, very deep, right? There's the idea of a friend. When I call you a friend, Tamer, right? Which I do. I've enjoyed a lot of times with you. Especially your green salsa, which I still have to get a recipe for.
Never.
Um,
I take it to the grave,
oh, you
but
gave
I'll
it to
make
me
you a
once
batch. I'll make you
before.
a batch.
Okay. But to call somebody there is a sense of honor, but to call somebody a friend, if when I call Tamer Higazi my friend, Tamer Higazi can call me anytime, day or night, for help, and I'm duty and honor bound to go help.
Mhm,
Right? I don't care if he needs a flat tire fixed in Thunder Bay. I have to go.
mhm,
Right? Also, there is the idea of my friend has no money and I have a dollar. That means my friend has 50 cents. Is not what it is. My friend has no money. I have a dollar. That means my friend has a dollar. It's not. It's
So it actually seems very Christian to me, and also romantic, like you said, the knights errant who are basically living an adventure and bringing the tales of their adventures to people. That's how I see you too. So there is a kind of a romantic aspect to living this lifestyle and an honor code, which is enviable for anybody. But there's also kind of a dark side or a scary side, and so I don't know how you can run with people like that. To me, just I would be on pins and needles all the time, hoping that I don't say the wrong thing.
well, there the same friend, actually another friend. He a newly minted member of a major motorcycle club. My friend took him aside and he said, "These are all your brothers," because that's how they refer to each other as brother, right? They're all your brothers, but they're not all your friends, right? There is the sense of the clique, right?
Right, right, right,
You can't be everything to everybody, right? You're going to connect with other people,
right,
but you're
right.
not going to be all, everybody's going to be your buddy, right?
But at the end of the day, you said you ultimately kind of checked out of belonging to a bike club or a gang, and
Yeah,
so
there's a lot of rules and a lot of requirements, but there's also the money aspect. Like it's not like joining the Moose Lodge, right? Or the Shriners. There's there's a lot of dues. There's a lot of trips you have to take. There's mandatory meetings, mandatory runs,
Mm,
and I
mm,
just trying to get an education at the University of Toronto, plus the conflicting part of being a Christian, right, a born again Christian,
right.
and associating with these people, but at the same time, that's where Christ would go,
I
right?
understood. Well,
Right.
Rocky, later on in this interview, when we're doing other activities, we're going to get more into your religious side. And so let's
Okay.
save it. But for now, I just want to introduce a special person into the conversation, and that is this person here,
Anne Marie.
Anne Marie. Wonderful lady. You know, when I had my school, my English academy, we knew Anne, James and Anne and I, we were practicing. Anne approached us and she said, I want to sing songs to Rocky. That was part of her attempt to woo you over before you guys really started dating. Anne wanted to kind of win you over, and she wanted to do it in song. So we actually met a few times and practiced a few songs, and James and I were playing the guitar and harmonizing. And I remember you caught whiff of this one day and you said, I'm going to shut this down right now. This isn't going to happen. I'm
Well,
not a guy you can sing songs to and serenade.
I met Anne when she was only I was 25. She was only 15,
Oh,
right?
wow.
And she was, and at first I looked at her and she shook my hand, and I thought she was the most beautiful little thing. And I met her in 1982, and I remember the color of her dress, what she was wearing,
Oh,
her shoes, and how she stood. But I went back and forth, looked at her brother, who had the same hairstyle as Gene Simmons and the cast of the Planet of the Apes.
yeah.
They, Gene Simmons and the Planet of the Apes all had the same hairstyle, and
Interesting observation.
I thought he was of average height, but he was at that time wearing platform shoes. But what? But he looked very much um, primate like, and so
Just say it
I,
gently.
I'm trying to be gentle, but I couldn't understand how this girl looked so beautiful, and her brother looked like Cheetah the chimp from Tarzan. But
That doesn't bode well for your future children. It's like hit and miss. You don't know what's going to happen.
well, I got knifed in the groin in 1982, 1980. So the children thing is a non
What did you just
sequitur.
say? You got knifed in the groin?
In 1980, yeah.
Oh my
So,
God.
so
All right.
I went to the hospital, and I think the doctors and the radio said, we should just irradiate his balls too, so we could stop this right in the tracks.
Wow. Well, maybe you could have had some radioactive children.
And no, they
Anyway,
wouldn't have been superheroes.
what's going on in this picture here?
Oh, we went to Las Vegas, and we went to the gun range, and we tried all these handguns and machine guns and stuff like that, and and took what was it? She used a Glock, 9 millimeter Glock to
Nice.
squeeze off about 15 rounds. It was just fun. So we had to naturally pose, right?
And
With
so how's Anne doing? I haven't seen her in so long. How's she doing right now?
she's really well. She's working as a PSW. Um, and what she has a incredible capacity for compassion and caring, which and that's she looks after the elderly and geriatric, and something that I could not ever imagine doing. Right? I mean, being
Well,
kind to them and stuff like that, but I mean, to help them in the way that she does, couldn't imagine doing something
But
like
it doesn't surprise me at all that she's such a like a wonderful person on because you do have a connection on a soul level for that reason, I'm sure. Because you are also a gentle, wonderful, caring person. And I know this because when I first met you,
oh, my
you had this dog here, and this
Tess.
dog was Tess roaming our neighborhood off leash. She was the queen. Was it a she or he?
She was a she.
She was the queen of our neighborhood. And actually, Shyla, my dog, kind of took over when you guys left, being the kind of the free roaming dog of the neighborhood that's always off leash. But I know you loved your dog so much. And then when your dog died, it was devastating. And of course, you then eventually got this dog, Lucy, the Wonder Pup. So tell me about your relationship with dogs and how that's changed your life.
We've always had dogs in our family, and my mother, being a Muslim, for some reason that was contradictory to Muslims don't really care about dogs, and from that era,
Yeah.
but she did, and she taught me about loving animals and looking after them because they don't have the ability to speak. And so we did have a German Shepherd once, called Rustam, when I was 5 years old, and he came across some little ducklings. There was a frost overnight, and these poor ducklings got caught in the pond, and
Oh,
they were just frozen, And so
yeah.
Rustam bit around the ice and brought all the
Oh,
ducklings in and put them under the radiator in the kitchen. It
oh,
was they have the ability to think, and they also have compassion, and
yeah.
this Lucy, we got her. She fit into the palm of my hand. She was the runt of the litter, and
Oh,
and I was afraid that nobody would want her, and that because of that they might just throw her in the pond, and or turn her into just a puppy mill dog, right?
right, right, right.
And so I took her home, and she's one of my best friends. she's just she's just such good company, and she tries.
Well, I know when you look on Facebook, you always find you kind of recounting her adventures with these anecdotes and stories and poems, and you just like are oozing dog love. Which, as far as I'm concerned, when you find a person who really loves animals, that's a good person. You know what I mean? That
Yeah,
that
no,
a person
well,
who loves. Yeah, go
she
ahead.
she tends to vocalize, and so because of that, that's where I got the idea of
Oh,
giving her
Lucy
word.
the Wonder Pup.
Yeah,
All right. Well, when I met you, you were undergoing kind of a transition. You decided to throw your hat in the ring at University of Toronto, and I guess you decided to fulfill a long time dream of yours to like was it a long time dream or was it something that
no,
developed later in life?
no, it's just the job I had with the city of Toronto was it was called Parks Monitor. It means I would go into the parks and I would deal with drunks, druggies, prostitutes, their pimps, juveniles, and throw them out of the park, right? And it was just constant confrontation, and it just got tiresome. Then people found out that they actually had somebody in Etobicoke doing this, and it became very, very politically incorrect.
Okay, but how
Um,
does this all tie into you getting a university degree in English?
oh well, they laid me off, right? They said, okay, you know what, we're not going to have this job open anymore because it's just too much of a hot potato. So, um, so either spending time with my wife or doing something. So I thought I better do something. I just the idea of being housebound uh, just wasn't for me. So I
But there was
decided,
something else going on. I remember you actually were kind of like a hobby writer. You were writing a lot of short stories at that time, and and you were very interested in writing and language. And so for you to choose English as your major at university and wanting to get it, it kind of made sense, right?
well, the reason I thought English would be easy because I could speak it. Right? I, yeah, I did. To me, the vastness of a Shopper's Drug Mart book rack was my exposure to literature, right? But the altruistic version of why was my father was went to Oxford University. All my brothers, with the exception of one, went on to gather degrees. Um, so one was a metallurgical engineer, one was a lawyer, one became a teacher, um, and I was the only one that didn't have letters beside their name.
Right.
So I thought I should get something.
Well, it's a credit to you, Rocky, and to enter university late in life, and to it is vigorous. I know studying English in university is no small thing.
I didn't
It,
think I didn't know, or else I wouldn't have gone.
well, did you graduate? Did you actually get your degree?
Yes.
Okay, so then I can, in good faith, put this cap on your head and congratulate you.
Oh,
And I'm glad you brought up your dad, your mom, your religious side. I'm going to talk about that more later. But are you ready to start our first activity of the day, Rocky?